Hey everybody, how's it going? This is an overview video for the Grey Knights. My overall thoughts for a pure Grey Knight army. Kind of an overview. Actually, not kind of. It is an overview. I said it's an overview. Don't mind me, I'm a bit tired here. I'm doing this as a start off to doing more, or as a start to doing more Grey Knight videos. I had requests for it, so here we go. Now, I'm a big fan of Grey Knights. And I feel they play like I feel Space Marines should play. Dishing out death by any means possible, pretty much. Range, close combat, doesn't matter. They're gonna do whatever they have to kill you. And that's how I feel Space Marines should always be. And overall, though, my thoughts on the Grey Knights, and it's always been this way, is that they're a shooting heavy force. Now, pump your brakes, let me finish. The Nemesis weaponry, very nice. Don't get me wrong. I like it. But their shooting potential and their shooting capabilities are what's really more impressive to me. And it's the reason I think it's impressive is blah 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 blah. If I could talk for once, the reason I think it's impressive is because it's paired with this Nemesis weaponry. You got your Stormbolter, which is paired directly with that. With the Terminators, you have the weapon option upgrades. There we go. That can be paired with it. And then for things like Dreadnoughts, Land Raiders, the Storm Raven gunship, all of that can be fire support for these Grey Knights. And it's mobile fire support, so you can keep up with them, or even go out in front of them to draw fire or shoot things up, targets of opportunity, stuff like that. And all this mobile firepower means you're going to be able to really drop the hammer on your opponent. Soften things up ridiculously, more so than if you had pistols. For ranged weapons for your Grey Knights. So you can do more softening up, which means hopefully more opponents' stuff dying, so less shots coming back at you, and easier time to clean up in the assault phase. And that's what I think the assault phase should be for Grey Knights, a cleanup phase. It shouldn't be a make or break phase. I'm never a fan of that in general, and for the Grey Knights, I think the assault phase shouldn't be a make or break phase. I mean, it may be here and there against certain opponents, and depending how your luck goes, but it shouldn't be that way. That shouldn't be how it is all the time. That's what I'm trying to get at. It should be a phase in which you're going, okay, this didn't run off the board. It's still here. I brought it down. I just shot it up some more. It's almost gone. Time to get rid of it. Assault it. Stuff like that. You know, there's always exceptions. Like, you know, with Tau, I would try to get into assault sooner rather than later. A lot sooner. And against a big horde army, I would kite it around as long as I can, avoiding the assault as long as I can. But those are exceptions. But as a whole, I think they're a shooting heavy force. And I think any force that has this assault capability, like the Grey Knights, should be shooting heavy to begin with. Not really shooting heavy as in dominating their assault capabilities, but it should have a good, strong shooting core to it. Because it's going to be able to pop those tanks, thin that herd for you. That way your assault can actually get in there and get the job done, and not just, you know, be overwhelmed, or not really be unsure if it's going to do that well. Now, also, I feel the Grey Knights are aggressive. If you're timid with a force like this, it's not going to help. Your opponent's going to be able to quickly set the tempo, and you're going to need that aggressive, that bold nature to really get out there and get the job done, because Grey Knights will be a smaller army than your standard, like, Space Marines. Alright. So, without getting ahead of myself, I just wanted to state that as an overview, I think if you approach the Grey Knights army as a new player in general, or new to Grey Knights, if you approach them not as an assault geared force, in which you're not with a mindset of how can I build a list and how can I play them and get into close combat as quickly as possible, but you build them as a shooting force that has close combat potential in there innately, good close combat potential to finish off your opponent, I think you may have a bit of an easier time coming up with ideas to make army lists as well as tactics to employ, and strategies both in army list building in terms of the tactics you employ. I kind of repeat myself there, but there is a difference. If you just think about it in terms of army list building and then build a strategy around it, it doesn't always work. You kind of have to marry the two together. You kind of have to have a strategy and a thought process as you build the list, and then you can really sink it in. And it sounds obvious, but some people don't do that. Some people just look on paper what's going to work and don't think of the strategy, and sometimes it doesn't work. Anyway, if you approach the Grey Knights with that mindset, as opposed to gotta, maximize my psychic abilities for beefing up my close combat potential, and I gotta get in there as fast as possible to cut them up in hand to hand. That process, if you think like that, it's not that you won't do well with Grey Knights. You probably will do decent, especially against certain forces, but I think you'll do even better focusing on their shooting potential first, seeing that as your first line, if you will, of attack, and then close combat being your second cleaning up line. Alright, so I rambled on long enough repeating myself. That's just an overview. Give it a shot. Look at the Codex again with fresh eyes if you haven't looked at it like that before. I think more people are recognizing the shooting strength of the Grey Knights now, and recognizing them as a shooting force now than they used to be recognized as, if that makes any sense. Let me say that sentence in a more structured manner. I think people are recognizing the Grey Knight Codex as the current one, the current incarnation of the Grey Knights, as a shooting heavy force, more so than they did with the older Codex. But I still think there are people out there who don't really think about it that much. They see Nemesis Force weapons, they see power armor and Terminator armor, they see the Terminator armor with frag grenades, and they think, okay, close combat, get in there, kill them up. And if you focus too much on that, you kind of have built up those blinders of shooting, and I think that can hurt you. So that's just my overview. I'm going to do some more videos in the future for Grey Knights. I'm going to do stuff on some war gear, special characters, things of that nature, some tips and tactics. So stay tuned for that. And I'll be doing that also for Deathwing and Ravenwing and Dark Angels and stuff like that. The Grey Knights are not the only army like this that have good close combat potential mixed with good shooting potential. Deathwing has this capability. So if you're thinking Deathwing, or if you thought Deathwing when I was talking about the Grey Knights, you're on the right track in terms of how you should approach this type of army. Ravenwing and Base Marine Biker armies can also be kind of thought of an army like this. Good maneuverability, good shooting, and good potential for close combat. Even Tyranid shooting heavy forces can be thought like this a little bit. So anyways, that's pretty much it. And until next time, take it easy.